Hello, 2021. Welcome to Community News. My name is Paul.
My name is Sasha.
Hello, Sasha. How are you today?
Hello, Paul. And hello, Townport. And hello, world.
It's wonderful to talk to you. I was thinking about maybe doing a new opening for 2021, but we've been doing this for almost 3 years at this point, and I'm way too lazy to think of anything new to do. So that's what it's going to be.
That we are in 2021 and we started this show in 2018. I'm so proud of us.
That's almost 3 years.
I mean, it is. We are doing it
Right.
because we started in August.
We're going to be right. We're going to go into year 4 in August.
Right.
Which is crazy to think of. What's even crazier is we're doing a short show this week. It's a little bit later than normal because we're planning our big extravaganza for next week, our 150th episode. It's hard to believe that we're there.
I cannot. I feel like we just did the first 2 or 3 shows or the first 5 shows that we did in that New York City studio.
Amazing. But I think that some of the people in Townport were having a premature celebration. I wasn't going to say ejaculation, but premature celebration because, as I understand it, your side of town had a crazy New Year's Eve. People were setting off fireworks and going insane. And so what happened?
Great play on words, Paul. This is just nuts, Paul. Every New Year's that we've spent in Townport before, I was aware of the first night activities where you could go downtown and they had some organized activities, cultural stuff, and even I think fireworks, But we never made it there because my kids didn't like crowds. We never got to go. So we'd usually stay home at our own house, and it was pretty quiet. And now, after my tumultuous move that we discussed on past shows where I moved first to the Townport Inn, and then I moved into my brand new tiny house in the new tiny house community. And then we realized I couldn't live in such a small space. We moved out. And then you recall, I'm just catching any new listeners up, that then I moved into a house just a block and a half away from my old house that I sold. And you would think that's the same neighborhood, but oh my God, Paul, New Year's Eve, I didn't know where I was. There was fireworks going off from 8 o'clock at night till 2 in the morning. I thought I was in a war zone.
Are you kidding me? I didn't hear anything. It was nice and peaceful and quiet. I had my box of Entenmann Poppums. We were watching New Year's Rockin' Eve with Dick Clark, hosted by Ryan Seacrest. I think that's what it's called, something along those lines. And I heard it was blissful. I heard nothing.
That sounds so nice.
And so, yes, I saw that you were calling me quite a few times, but I took the night off. I knew that there was some calamity going on. Had I known, I would have come right over.
It really is nuts, Paul, because it's almost like I'm seeing a pattern in the 3 years on the air here. It does feel like calamity somehow follows me. And it's not like you could blame me because we weren't taking part in the fireworks at all. We planned a quiet, really COVID New Year's at home, just me, the husband, the 2 teenage children. We were going to watch 2 movies. We watched Real Genius, which I had never seen. Someone had recommended.
Val Kilmer, such a great movie.
Oh my God, how did I miss it? Because
there's not one bad scene in that movie.
Okay, every one of my other friends was recommending it too. You've seen it too. Somehow I was asleep at the wheel, never saw that one. And you mentioned,
Mom, I want to come home. I don't like it here anymore. I love that movie.
I had that letter when my kids were at sleepaway camp. But they said your kids will love it, and they did love it. And I couldn't get over Val Kilmer so young. I didn't become aware of him until the Doors movie, which I thought he was super hot in when he played Jim Morrison. But he was pretty hot in Real Genius. And it was so weird to me to be staring at a teen Val Kilmer because now he's, older than us and a little bit, a little plump. But anyway, he looked hot in that movie. So we watched that. And then we watched one of my all-time favorites from 1976, Network.
Good movie also.
Such a good one. I wanted to show
Get off your seat. Get out. Open your window.
Open the window and say, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. They loved seeing that scene. But I like to show them all the movies that have cultural references, so that when they go out into the world. So I was like, you have to see this one. And also, it's amazing how much it held up since 1976. But the misinformation, the disinformation, the TV, all that. So anyway, we're watching that. So many bombs going off, as they say, the rockets, red flare, the bombs bursting in air.
Are you sure you didn't move
It
to Fallujah?
I know, right? I only live a block and a half from my old neighborhood, but I can't believe what goes on here. I said, okay, I literally feel like I said 3 times, I feel like we're in Beirut. And my kids laughed at that. And then I said, truly, like, I just can't decide. Did we land in a war reenactment? And is it a war reenactment of the Civil War or the American Revolutionary War? I can't decide which. But it was bombs, boom, 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 gunshots twice. The husband, who you know is pretty much like almost deaf, doesn't listen, doesn't pay attention to anything, twice he said, let's just turn the movie off because he couldn't even hear anything. Like he was that distracted by the noise even. My kids were distracted. And then we finished the movie. I forgot to say, my 16-year-old several times said, I'm scared someone's going to light our house on fire. He's like, I'm scared something's going to land on the house and light it on fire. And I was like, well, no, that at least wouldn't happen. But, just the noise was crazy. And, I have PTSD. It was making me like really not feel well and get really ratcheted and agitated. And then my son went upstairs to his room and then we hear him go, holy shit, something's on fire. And I'm like, what? And he's like, something's on fire. And he comes running downstairs. He's like, there's a house on fire. And my younger son said later, he goes, I knew it was something bad when his brother said, holy shit, because he said, you're always so flat and unemotional about things. And he said, you sounded really scared. So we go outside. Now, what was it, 12 degrees on New Year's Eve? Or
Right.
22
It was
degrees?
cold. Whatever it was cold.
Right. And we're all in our pajamas. I'm, of course, as you like to always point out, sans bras, as one is when they're hanging out at home. I'm not dressed up for New Year's. I saw some of my friends on Facebook got all dressed up. One guy was in a tux. Women were in evening gowns, trying to make it less pandemic-y. I was in the full-on flannel pants and a T-shirt with my, everything just hanging out.
And that's how you greeted the firemen? Was that what happened?
The neighbors. So neighbors I'd never met because, we're new here. We went outside. There were like 50 neighbors outside. It was as if there was a party. So I peruse the firemen because I'm just looking for one silver lining. And I'm like, well, firemen are usually hot, no pun intended, like not fire hot, but just like hot to look at. So I thought, let me see if I can find one hot one in the crowd. And they were less hot than like the usual fireman calendar. But one of them stood out as semi-hot. He was probably about 27. So I stared a little bit, but he wasn't looking at me. He was too busy looking at the 50-foot flames and trying to figure out how they would get them out.
What a shame that he wasn't neglecting his job, staring at you there in your flannels and T-shirt, looking all alluring.
Exactly. I couldn't win him over with the charms that you say I have.
The funny thing is had he noticed you and he was doing the hose and all of a sudden he turned it around and squirted you and you went flying down the street.
Well, and they had the big truck with the giant ladder that you could see up 50, 60 feet. And that ladder was spraying the hose over to the house. And they had to spray it for like 90 minutes because it wouldn't go out.
Wow.
And then I heard the truck stayed there all night. Like I was up till 4 or 5. The trucks were still there, a bunch of them, because they said the embers kept reigniting. So they had to stay there and babysit this, all because some pyro decided he's going to do some fireworks.
Crazy New Year's Eve. Like I said, I sat in front of a fire in a fireplace while watching TV and eating Entenmann's. A perfect New Year's.
You had the kind of New Year's that I wanted. We wanted quiet and nice. And next thing you know, we're in New Year's, not Rockin' Eve, but New Year's burning down the house Eve.
Crazy. Well, as long as you and the husband and the kids are all okay and the dog, everyone's okay. Wouldn't it have been ironic had it been your old house that had burned down? Yes.
What?
Wouldn't it have been ironic had it been?
That's most important. And we were also happy that it didn't burn their neighbors' houses because at first when we went outside, we were like, are we going to have to evacuate? Like, is this fire going to spread? I don't know. But the Townport firemen, you're amazing. They did an amazing job of containing that fire. And there were also 15 police officers there, some male, some female. Just want to say, all of you Townport fire and police, you rock. You guys, I said to one of the firemen, I don't know how you do your job because I would not be able to go in there knowing that someone set their own house on fire. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not going to go risk my life on this one.
Right. Crazy time. But why would we expect anything less than this to happen to you at the beginning of 2021?
Right. Trauma follows Sasha wherever she goes. Although it also followed my family. Let's face it.
Yeah, but you're the ringleader, so of course you're the one who is going to bring it all on.
Clearly with this one, I in no way brought this on. I wasn't at their pyromaniac, set your own firework party off, COVID party at their house. I wasn't there. I don't know the people. You know, they live around the corner. Clearly, I had nothing to do with it. But wherever I go, stuff happens. It's amazing.
That's why we're doing this miles and miles apart, so I can keep a buffer so things don't happen to me at this point. So anyway,
Right? I'm like a mad.
next week, 150th episode, and it's going to be exciting. So that about wraps up this flaming episode of Community News. And as always, my name is Paul.
And as always, my name is Sasha.
Sasha, a pleasure to speak to you. Next week, 150. I'll talk to you then.
Gosh, I can't wait for all the exciting surprises we have for our listeners and that I'm going to have for you, Paul, next week.
Can't wait. I'll talk to you then. Take care.
See you next Tuesday. We love you, community.
Bye.
Bye.